There's to another specific hangout here on the Oshay Duke Jackson channel. And it's been a long time since me and my brother from Sacramento have been able to really connect. And, I really want to introduce him to some of you guys who probably don't know him. Most of you probably do know. We've done tons of shows together. But again, we're about empowering, Black people, African Americans, especially African American men, to open up their horizons and open up their minds to the world. He in their Junk Pile video, but most notably, Dynas was the biggest influence on me traveling to Africa for the first time. And I really enjoyed the trip, and I was so glad that he helped me with the motivation to go. Got my Yola Fever card, and I've been wanting to go back ever since. But I'm going to introduce to some and present to others the great Search for Uhuru channel ran by Dynas the Mayor. What's going on, Dynas?
Hey, Oshay, what's good, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, man. I know you've been
giving my eviction papers. We haven't been in a minute. Yeah, you said I had a home at the Oshay Duke Jackson channel, and then we haven't did a show in a minute. I'm like, damn, you didn't kick me out.
That's because you have more hair than me, nigga. I can't be letting you have the hairline still. I'm over here struggling, my player. But it's good to have you back, man. I want to say for the work that you do, man, here on this corner of YouTube, man, you're doing the Lord's work, man. It's brothers like yourself who've inspired, like me to go to Africa, and you've been to several different countries, talked about it, but most recently, you had a chance to go to Ghana. Is that right?
Yeah, I was just in Ghana. I just got back Tuesday.
Monday, okay.
Got back, yeah.
Let's give a rundown on the previous trip. I mean, because some people may not know you, but before we get to Ghana, let's tell people about how initially you started traveling to Africa in the beginning, and start with the Brazil thing because
yeah. So I'm in corporate America. I do sales, so I had a pretty good sales year. And so a good buddy of mine, he's like a mentor. He encouraged me to start taking vacations. He's like, "Hey man, you're selling. You have some disposable income. Go travel." So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Brazil. I'm gonna hook up with some big booty Brazilian chicks because all the homies they went to Brazil, went to Rio, and got villas, and they rented big booty Brazilian chicks by the week. And so I was gonna do that. And so then the girl that I was gonna go with, that was gonna host me, she stayed in Sao Paulo, which is the capital of Brazil, I believe. She backed out. So I was like, damn, well, I don't wanna go to Brazil by myself. Where can I go? So another good friend of mine said, Dynas, won't you go to Tanzania? And I was like, Tanzania? I was like, I consider it. So I started researching Tanzania, and there was a club called, there's an island called Zanzibar. And I'm like, shit, well, in LA, people are familiar with LA. In Santa Monica, there's a club called Zanzibar. So I'm like, fuck it, there's a club called Zanzibar and it's a real island, I'm gonna go. So I went and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I've been traveling back and forth as much as possible to Ghana. To Africa in general, whenever I get the opportunity.
Okay, let's go down a rundown of the countries in Africa that you visited, just so we can know. For the brothers out there who've never traveled, let's count the countries down if we can.
I've been to Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, Namibia, Ghana, Benin, Mali, Senegal. I think I'm missing a country. And then next month, in literally less than a month, I'll be in Togo and back in Benin first week of January.
Okay, so I have just in East Africa, I know about Tanzania, I know about Kenya,
and then I did South Africa and Namibia.
South Africa, Namibia, yes, and then there was Mali,
Senegal,
Benin, Senegal.
Ghana.
Now Ghana.
I feel like I'm missing a country, and then I go to Togo and back to Benin January, less than a month.
Okay, so let's just look at what we have so far. So you went to Kenya, which is a former British colony, right. South Africa, Ghana, and some of these other Francophone countries, because right. Tanzania was operated by, at one point, the Germans and then to the British.
Right.
But let's talk about Ghana. Now, Ghana is a very hot topic on YouTube and also above other places. Now, what drew your interest into going to Ghana?
Well, when I travel to Africa, I try to find an event or festival to go to so I could really experience the culture. So I don't have to really go searching for it. I could just go to one spot and it's right there. So in Kumasi, which is the capital of the Ashanti Kingdom, they have the Akufo-Addo Festival, which is held every month, which pretty much celebrates Ashanti culture in the Ashanti Kingdom. And so I wanted to go to that in December, which is, it was held December 3rd. So that's what drew me to Ghana. And then obviously, since it was my first time being there, I just wanted to see, Accra and go to Cape Coast and see the different, the slave dungeons. And then, I ventured my way up to Kumasi. So that's what, attracted me to Ghana. But then there are a lot of Black American repatriates who also live in Ghana and are doing very well. I know we talked about offline, One Africa in Cape Coast. Lady moved from the Bronx, New York about 30 years ago and never looked back. And she has a resort in Cape Coast right off the beach. It's absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, there are a lot of, a lot of people, Black people who are doing very well. You have Brother Daniel too, that we know, who's building a resort himself right outside of Accra. There's a lot of Black Americans who are doing very well in Ghana, because I think there's just a problem in the Black community, not wanting to leave America because they can't see outside of their own community, local communities here in America. So, I had a guy on today, people who are interested in Ghana in real estate. I had a real estate agent from Accra on today on my platform. So, giving pretty much information on real estate in the process in Ghana. So the festivals and the culture is what drew me to Ghana. But, I'm more interested now as far as establishing something, even purchasing property there, because it's so inexpensive. I mean, like I tell Black people, man, there's other options outside of America. I know me and you were just talking and you were considering coming back or going, just staying in the EU and going to Africa, man. I would stay in the EU and go straight to Africa, man. I mean, there's so many more options outside of just America. So, and also too, Ghana is an English speaking country as well.
Right.
And they've been very receptive to Black Americans too. Because, Kwame Nkrumah, who was the father of Ghanaian independence, he pretty much was a student of Marcus Garvey. So, that connection is there as well. So
yeah, he was also in John Henry Clark cites the great Kwame Nkrumah as one of his mentors. Actually, John Henry Clark, which is the great Black historian, lived in Ghana for certain years. Also, Mugabe lived in Ghana and taught in Ghana for certain years. So Ghana is really has a really great link to Africa. Let me talk about this because for those people who want to know about the visa process, because some countries do make it easier for entry. Let's say, for example, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, you can just apply for a visa
at the airport.
It's very, very easy to get. What about Ghana? How do you get the visa to go to Ghana?
Basically, you have to have a passport and you have to mail it to the embassy. So I mailed mine to the embassy in Washington, D.C. And it's like once you get it, it's like a week process. Like I would say 7 to 10 business days at the most as far as the turnaround. So you just mail it to the embassy because you can't get a visa on arrival at the airport like with Kenya and Tanzania. I know Senegal, you don't have to have a visa at all if you have an American passport. But yeah, with Ghana, you have to actually mail your passport to the embassy in DC or embassy wherever you're located, and you have to do the visa process there. It's like I think I paid like $100 maybe, and that's for a limited entry for 2 years, I believe. So yeah.
So you can go back
Yeah.
for 2 years. Okay.
Right. Because like with my visa with Mali and Benin, it's good for 5 years. So I have multiple entry for 5 years in Mali and Benin. So
let me talk to you about this, brother Dynasty. So let's talk a little bit about some of those brothers who are interested in going over to Ghana. So once you got the visa, let's talk about the flight, the length of the flight. And how long it took you. Let's say you're in Atlanta, Georgia. What about the layovers or stuff like that? How long did it take you to get to Ghana?
I want to let me address something in the chat room real quick. Mbansa, I don't know, Mban S7A1. The language spoken in Ghana is Twi, and that's spoken all over the country. But yeah, so I was supposed to originally fly out of New York directly to Accra from JFK. But at last minute, I noticed they canceled my flight. So I ended up just flying out of Atlanta to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Accra. But the flight directly from JFK to Accra is like maybe 8-9 hours.
Okay, 8-9 hours. All right, and let's talk for those people currency, because obviously we use the U.S. dollar. Let's talk about how much money did you exchange, that you took, and let's talk about the actual currency they have in Ghana for those people who are looking to travel to Ghana. Let's talk about that for those people in the audience, as far as and do you still have any of the currency left, by any chance?
Nah, I spent it all, but it's the SETI. SETI, every 4.5 SETI equals $1. So the dollar's pretty strong over there. I mean, it's relatively cheap over there. They were saying that Accra is the most expensive city in Africa, but by American terms, I still think is relatively inexpensive. In fact, to be honest with you, I think Bamako, Mali, by far everywhere I've been, was probably the most expensive city in Africa. No, it's $1 to 4.5 cities, not 1.5. So yeah. I mean, it's the dollar's pretty strong.
Where did you do your exchange? Did you do? Because I always tell people, like,
I don't do it at the airport.
Never do it at the airport, right?
Yeah, I just, like I said, my buddy, he knew somebody, and I just went to their little money exchange thing and did it there. But at the airport, they rape you.
So what was the rate that you got at the exchange? Was it somewhere close to the 4.5 or?
Yeah, it was 4.5. Like, it was, yeah. I mean, basically, see, I don't know how they make their money, but I'll research what the rate is, and usually I get that same rate that I find online. And then, but the airport is, if it's 4.5 on the street or online airport, they'll probably do it like right at 4. Like they kill you at the airport.
Well, let me ask you this. So typically when I went to like Uganda, the larger bills were bigger than the smaller bills, and that's the same case here in Poland. Would you see the bills, the notes, were they bigger as the denominations got larger, or?
No. So they were pretty much all the same in Ghana. I know the only time it's really different. So with the French-speaking countries, they use the CFA, but sometimes the CFA in Senegal is smaller than like the CFA in Benin, but you can still use them in the different countries.
Yeah, and CFA is like Central
Franc, something like Franc, yeah, Central African Franc or something like that.
Okay, let's talk about this. So you got to Accra, you flew into Accra, I'm assuming, right? How long did you stay in Accra?
Dude, as far as the airport or just staying in Accra?
No, in the city.
So I stayed in Accra maybe 2-3 days, and then I went to Cape Coast, stayed there 2 days, and came back to Accra for like a day maybe, or 2 days. I came back to Accra for maybe 2 days, and then I went to Kumasi for like maybe 3 days and came back to Accra for a day. Then I flew back to America.
Okay. Now let's talk about the experience at the Accra airport for those brothers, like, because when I got to, Entebbe in Uganda, I was like, oh, fuck, it's chaos. So how did you experience, what was your experience when you got to Accra as far as the organization of the airport and all that stuff?
Dude, I would say this, Accra was probably the best airport that I've been to in Africa as far as getting through passport control, next to the Kenya airport. Because I know Benin, I was literally in a line for passport control for like 2 to 3 hours. It was just so unorganized. But literally with Accra, I was in and out just like that. I remember a couple of times when I went to Tanzania, it was probably like an hour. The first time I went to Senegal, it was like an hour or 2. But yeah, Accra, I was in that airport. Like that time I landed to get my bags and get out of there, I was in there no more than 20 minutes.
Okay. So no more than 20 minutes. Okay. So let's talk about, and let me get this deal shout outs real quick, brother. For those of you, I said we have 77 watching. Thank you, brothers, for coming in. Brothers, go ahead and do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the like button real quick if you can. I really appreciate you brothers doing that. Let's get the like button up, and then let me also just do some shout outs to some brothers who donated. Kevin Settle, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Tufok Lawal, salute. I'm from Ghana. Thank you for $5 for super chat. Okay, so when you got to, when you got to the actual place in Accra, and then you got to your actual residence, where were you actually staying?
I stayed with a friend in a neighborhood called Mamobi. Okay. So I crashed with him. Like I said, when I go to Africa, I try to live like a local as much as possible.
Why is that?
I want the real experience. I mean, I do some of the touristy stuff, but I want just the real experience as far as if I'm considering moving there. Every African country I go to, I look at it as an option to relocate to just in case I need to relocate there. Mm-hmm. So I try to live as much as possible as a local. So I stayed in the neighborhood. I stayed at my friend's house in Mamobi. I stayed there. And then when I went to Cape Coast, I stayed at One Africa. And then in Kumasi, I stayed a night with my friend, and we stayed 2 nights at my friend I stayed at. He had his family owns a chain of hotels in Kumasi. So then I stayed at their hotel a couple of nights. So, but yeah, I try to live like a local when I visit Africa as much as possible. I want to eat all the local food. I want to do everything as a local.
Okay. What was your feeling, because when I initially got to Uganda, I didn't like the place because actually it's my first time in Africa. It grew on me after a while. Mm-hmm. I couldn't say like when I first got to Uganda, like I felt at home there, but what was your initial feeling when you got to actually, smell the Ghanaian air, your own Ghana? How did you feel being what was your impression after you got a taste of actually being on the land?
I mean, it's like going home to Sacramento. Like, I mean, I'm home, you know what I mean? Like, I know the first time I went to Tanzania was kind of like, what what should I expect? And I was a little bit anxious, but now when I go to Africa, it's just like, I'm taking a trip to Sacramento or going home. So yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, we're going to go into all your trip, but you've told me, if you had to pick a place that you would relocate permanently, it would be Senegal. And I find that very interesting because Senegal is a Francophone speaking country. So it's a French that's very dominant there. Why wouldn't you say, what about Ghana? Would you ever consider, from what you've seen from Ghana, would you consider moving there permanently if you had to pick?
I would, but it's just the thing is, I would say my extended family is in Senegal. Like people I really, really, really trust and know that I have a relationship with. But I know a lot of brothers who are setting up in Ghana, so I would definitely consider Ghana as well as Ghana would be my number 2 now out of all the countries I've been to. But Senegal is just, I don't know, that's like my second home because just the relationships I've made over the past years, and people already know that are established there. So, but Ghana would be number 2.
Let's talk about these brothers that you're saying are setting up in Senegal. I want to talk to you about that because you said that there are brothers setting up in Ghana, but being from the West, is all the people who are probably listening to this chat, African Americans. We always feel that the United States is the biggest place of opportunity. Everybody is trying to come to the United States.
Right.
How do people feel when they feel like you're from the USA? Don't they feel like, what are you doing here in Ghana? You're from why are you here? We're trying to get to where you're at. Why are you coming to the USA? And let's kind of talk about, the opportunities that America doesn't see in Ghana, or Black Americans don't see in Ghana, and sometimes Ghanaians don't see in Ghana. But why are brothers, why are they setting up shop in Africa in some places?
Because a lot of things. Number one, your dollar goes a lot further over there. Number 2, like for me, it's just the way society is, man. It's, Africa is, I tell people Africa is safe, man. Little things like when me and you were growing up, Oshay, we used to play outside. Kids don't play outside no more here in America. In Africa, kids are running around, having fun, playing soccer. It's safe. I mean, there's a code of conduct. I mean, the culture. You know, here it's just, you know, like me, I'm just grinding to make money to build over there. You know what I mean? Like I'm really just somewhat, I would say I'm really starting to really just be disconnected from, how can I say, like just the American experience. Like I'm just here to make money, take care of my family, and build in Africa. That's what I'm doing now. Like I'm completely disconnected and unplugged. So like I said, it's just society, the values. Africans have more of a code of conduct than people over here in America. It's safer, a whole lot safer. I mean, in my honest opinion, the schools are better. It's a lot.
Let me play devil's advocate real quick because I'm going to do a vlog about should black people move to Africa on my vlog channel. And one of the things that I want to question is that we do have so many people from the United States, whether they want to say it or not publicly, they would like to go back to Africa and set up. But the thing is, Africa, and I have to really blame a lot of individual African countries. We can blame white supremacy to a certain point, but a lot of African countries don't have anything that will entice people to come back there to do stuff. You know, like for example, to get back to Ghana, to move there, you know, you're taking a huge fucking risk. I mean, you have to, you know, pay to play even more. You know, it's a lot of corruption on every level. I mean, I know that by just visiting, you know, Uganda. It's so difficult for people who are very talented, who have a certain skill set of life. They know they're gonna get paid in the West or in, you know, the UK and United States. These countries have not really opened up a real good thing to have, you know, the talented blacks to come back. And a lot of times, you know, that's in the case of Liberia. I mean, I understand that this had a war, but even before then, your electricity is going to be much higher. You don't have, you know, the fiber optic internet. You don't have sometimes the roads. I mean, just to get to one part of the country, which is like maybe from Oakland to San Francisco, in there it might take 1 hour. I mean, 7 or 8 hours. You know, they don't have the infrastructure, nor are they trying to make it lucrative for blacks like us to want to come back and want to do things there. So, I mean, what's your answer to that when someone hits you?
I mean, it really depends on which country you're going to. I mean, Ghana, the roads are good. Now, when I got to Kumasi, the roads weren't that good. But I mean, on the way to Kumasi, the roads were great. I mean, same thing like with Mali. The first time I went to Mali, the roads from Bamako going to Dogon country were pretty bad. But when I came back the next year, they did the roads. So the roads were great. So, I mean, the infrastructure is getting better. The roads are getting a whole lot better. As far as like the pay to play and the corruption, I mean, just speaking to people who are building in Ghana, they haven't really experienced that. So I just think a lot of it is just hearsay or urban legends that people talk about that's not really going on. And then, like I said, a lot of that just depends on which country you go to. But as far as the roads and the infrastructure, I mean, over time, since like Namibia, we'll use Namibia for example. Namibia by far has the best roads, even better than America. Mm-hmm. So it just really depends on the country.
Let me play devil's advocate. I've heard several people talk about the corruption level in Ghana, even here on YouTube. So maybe there's different experiences. I've heard them say that a lot. You got to pay to play, which I mean, even when I was in Uganda, I know that for a fact. I haven't been in many countries as you've been, but there's definitely a pay to play thing there. That element is there. Not that that's necessarily bad, but for black people like yourself and for me who've been convinced, okay, you're never going to be able to govern yourself maybe to the level in the United States. Yes, it's lucrative to work in the United States, but at the end of the day, the United States is going very left, and you know, and we're already deprived of our original African cultures. What's the incentive do you feel for blacks to go to a place like Ghana when you don't have, you are lacking the infrastructure? You might not have a job when you get there. There are a lot of people that are already unemployed already.
Yeah, but let me cut you off real quick. If you're relocating to Africa looking for a job, you need to just stay in America. I mean, everybody that's going to Africa, they're bringing something to offer, or they're going as entrepreneurs. Like looking for a job going to Africa for the most part is, I mean, unless you're working for like a multinational, international conglomerate. But like me, when I go to Africa, I'm not really going to be looking for a job. I'm going to be creating jobs. That's the attitude you have to have when you're going.
Let's talk about that real quick because you make a good point. People who are going to Africa are not going to Africa to look for a job.
No.
They're going to be entrepreneurial minded. You've been to many African countries. Let me talk about them real quick, okay? All right. I'll just name some of the really good ones. Places like Kenya, which is really a really strong currency. Namibia. We can just kind of start there. In the city, it's pretty stable.
Right.
Kenya definitely, out of all of those countries rather, is probably have the most exports, import. I saw a lot of Kenyans in Uganda doing business and stuff like that. For those blacks who are not entrepreneurial mindset, what we are automatically saying off top, hey, this is not even for you.
Correct. Because I mean, you have to look at like even the Chinese or the Lebanese or the Arabs who are, I mean, you got to look at it like this. Even the, I mean, all the other people who go to Africa, they're not looking for jobs. They're coming to create jobs or build infrastructure. So yeah, if you're looking for a job in Africa, it's in your best interest just to stay here.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Unless just a hell of an opportunity comes up that will afford you to go to Africa, then yeah, that's a different thing. But I mean, like going to Africa and I'm gonna go on monster.com and start job hunting in Africa, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Like I said, when I go, it's gonna be definitely entrepreneur or like a consultant role.
Okay, let's stop right here, Dynas, because I think this is the most powerful part of the conversation. We're going to go into the other things, and again, we have 100 brothers in the chat. I'm actually surprised we have that many for an African discussion. So do me a favor, all you brothers who are really watching this, and I noticed that we're getting more viewers per time. Do me a favor and like the video, okay? And I want all of you brothers to go into the description and subscribe to Search for Uhuru channel, okay? I want to go ahead. For those people on the restream, like the video, share the video, right? This is the African-American brother, former All-American running back in the state of California. He doesn't talk about, though. He doesn't like talking about that too much, but this was at one point probably the fastest man in the state of California. And I think he broke the rushing, well, he didn't break the rushing record, but I think he was the #1 rusher in the state in 1999 under another name we will not mention right now. So this is a brother, man, who was a world-class athlete and turned into what you're seeing right now. You would never know by looking at him with them glasses that this nigga was the biggest breakaway threat on the West Coast. He never got caught from behind. Don't let him break a tackle, nigga. It's forget about it. Forget it. Gone, nigga. Gone. So I'm trying to tell you, if he steal your money, even right now, shit, you ain't gonna get it back. So let's subscribe to the brother. The brother's doing a really good work on his channel, man. He's really a very powerful brother. We want all you brothers to subscribe to him. Shout out to Skirt Cobain. Dynas, let's talk about this because we have I have a black male channel.
Yeah.
My channel is focusing on brothers.
Right.
Brothers do need to be business minded.
Right.
Now, here's what I understand about Europe and the United States. It is a good place to gain skills.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. How can these brothers hone their skills here and then take those skills someplace else?
I'll use myself as an example. Currently in corporate America, I do sales. Okay. So when I relocate to Africa, as far as earning an income, it would be more in a consultant role as far as developing sales forces for companies that need to develop their sales forces. So as far as providing material, the training, that's what I would do. I would develop sales forces in Africa. So whatever you're doing currently in corporate America, I mean, that could be used or leveraged as a skill to utilize in Africa.
Okay, so that's a skill.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about some other things because a lot of brothers, I've seen a lot of people who are moving to Ghana. Shout out to the natural Ghana girl. Shout out to the only way is Ghana. I'll put their uh, channels there. And shout out to Maurice Anderson. What is the best way to get a business license in Nigeria or Ghana? You know what? That particular question, I don't know. Do you know that?
If you go on my page, I just did a video with a guy who does real estate in Ghana. He's currently in Ghana right now on my page, so he explains it. So just go check it out on the page. But basically, I mean, it's just kind of like it is here. You just go to the state or the city and just file for one.
Actually, you know, I have heard that sometimes, like when you do file for one, it's probably better. And I have to say this because there's a level of corruption. If they offer to do it expedited one, go ahead and pay it extra because you'll definitely get it. Sometimes I heard it can hold those things up. So I've heard that from Natural Ghana Girl, and the only way is Ghana. So let me just do this real quick, Dynas. If you were to move to Africa, right?
All right.
Let's talk numbers because brothers want to know numbers. You're an African American like myself. We've both been to Africa. You've been many more times than I have. What's an amount of money that if you're going to move to Africa? Let's kind of go line down the line real quick. You know, how much expenses, how much money does Dynas need to get saved?
You could live comfortably, and from just talking to people, you could live comfortably, whatever, in Accra or in Ghana for $600 a month. Because you could rent a room out for like $100, $150 a month. You know, food is inexpensive. So, I mean, we'll just say $600 to $700 a month. I mean, and you'll be just fine.
Okay, let's talk about that 600-700 because a lot of brothers are used to living a certain lifestyle. Now, let me say this real quick, Dennis. I've noticed this. All the channels that I see on YouTube where people are moving back to Africa is typically black women.
Okay.
I've noticed that. Black women, they have an easier time going back to Africa and starting Africa, you know, an African channel, stuff like that, and surviving and not coming back. Why do you feel like black women, it's much easier for them to go back to Africa, move there permanently versus brothers?
I just think that maybe the case might be that black men aren't actually documenting as much as black women, because I know a lot of brothers are doing well over there, and then I know some sisters that, you know, aren't doing too good over there. But I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm trying to think of the most PC way to say it. I mean, if you're a female, you shouldn't be struggling for nothing. If you, damn, I don't want to be, you know, I'm trying to keep this clean and child friendly. Moses Guzman, you said it in the chat room. Everybody look at Moses Guzman, what he said. I just, you know, I want to be nice. But, you know, like if you're a female, you shouldn't be struggling for anything. I'll just put it like that. So yeah, it's always easier for women because, you know, they're, I would say, catered to more than us men who actually who have to, you know, who aren't as catered to, you know, like women are. So I'll say it like that.
Okay, let me talk to you about this real quick because you know, we got to talk about this $600 a month. Okay, let me just talk a little bit about Poland and kind of transfer what $600 means in Poland. I live in probably one of the best parts of the city. In a new flat, I pay $650 a month. Now, although it's expensive. I have
you have a 1-bedroom or like a studio apartment.
2 bedrooms. I have 2 bedrooms, kitchen. I have.
You paying $650 for 2 bedrooms? That's nothing.
Yeah, it's actually a lot compared to here. I mean, it was lower when Donald Trump didn't deflate the dollar. I was paying like $5 because it goes off Polish currency. So you know, I have like a huge kitchen. if Poland's in the EU, so it's first world. That 600 is, I was the first person to live here. Heat. I have new cabinets, brand new shower. This place in America would be like $2,000 a month, but and in some parts of the EU, like Romania, you get even better. Bulgaria get even better deals. But when you say $600 a month of living total in Ghana, a lot of Americans, man, are used to a certain kind of lifestyle, bro. They're used to first world lifestyle.
Yeah.
How much is the same lifestyle in America over in Ghana?
I mean, you could get a first world lifestyle. I mean, you're gonna pay a little bit more. But my thing is, if it's just I'm just looking at the chat room, and it seems like everybody's trying to stretch a penny. So it's like, no, $600 might not be completely a first world lifestyle. But if you're broke in America, I mean, and you're struggling to, and you're living a first world, you can't afford your first world lifestyle, you could just always go to Africa and live a second world lifestyle, which you're paying for your first world lifestyle that you can't even afford. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I put it like this, you'll be comfortable with $600 a month.
Okay, because a lot of, to be fair, a lot of brothers, if used to the high speed fiber optic internet, like I have 600 megabits per second. I pay about $31 a month for that. My cell phone, which is very inexpensive, I can get 6 gigabytes, unlimited talk and text for about $6 a month. And my electricity and gas over a 4-month period will be about $100 a month.
Damn, that's it. Wow.
That's it. Yeah, but we gotta also talk about, because I know that sometimes the electricity goes out in certain parts of Africa. That might be somewhat of a concern. In the gas that you must buy, you don't only buy gas for the car, you buy gas for generators. Let's talk about the generators and stuff like that for the brothers who don't know about
I didn't like in Ghana. I didn't see people use, like I've never seen people really using generators. I've rarely saw power outages. Like, I think that just might be just a Nigerian thing. Like, I don't know. It's just, I never really experienced like just power outages. I mean, I remember in Zanzibar, sometimes after a storm or before the storm, the power might be out for maybe 15 minutes at the most, and then it's back on. Like I said, I've never experienced these power outages. I've never seen these generators. I know where I was staying in Ghana, I did have to dump buckets. So, they had like I don't know where they got the water from, but, had to dump buckets as far as bathing, and there wasn't any running water because it was an older building where I was staying, but I was comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just serious about going over there, focusing, getting your business started, right, saving your money, then you could live comfortably for $600, $700 a month.
Okay.
And I was good.
Okay. And so let me do this, and please never orange me. No, don't do that. So not in the chat. If you want to say something to me directly, then you just say it in the chat or you super chat it. So this is what we want to do, Dinus. Let's talk about the actual amount of money that, because in Africa, like in Poland or USA,
hello, Oshay. Oshay, you there? Oshay, you there?
I'm here. Yes.
It had froze. Like, I had lost you for a second.
Okay, so like in Poland, Europe, or United States, when we want to do rent, the renter will ask for 1 month up front,
mm-hmm,
and then you pay the first month's rent.
Right.
I've heard from several people in Africa, sometimes 1 year or 2 years up front. I've heard this from several people. That sometimes these things are negotiable, but if you're going to move to Africa, from what I've heard from several sources across the thing, should a person be prepared to pay 1 to 2 years of rent in advance?
I remember when I first moved to LA, my credit was so messed up that I had to literally pay like 6 months and a security deposit up front. So I would just say this: just have, you know, 4 years worth of expenses saved up. Like I would just say, if you're moving to Africa and you're serious, if you have 20 racks saved up, you'll be fine. But I have to get clarity on paying a whole year up front. But I've heard people say maybe like a half a year up front. I've heard that. And like I said, when I was in LA, my credit was so messed up that literally I had to pay to get into the building I wanted to. They were like, no, we can't do it. Your credit's messed up. I said, look, I'll give you 6 months up front. And they were like, okay, so
Okay.
so yeah. I definitely had money saved up in the bank before I left or before I would consider making any move.
Okay. So and then also I'll also just bring some people on that are there also. Typically that's what we want to talk about. So we have that. So what amount of money would you need like before you actually make the move? How much money are you looking for? Like what would make you be like, okay, I'm in Africa? What amount of money in your savings would say, okay, I'm ready to go to Africa right now. I can do it now.
Well, first thing first, when I move, I'm buying, like I'm very big on owning property.
Okay.
So I'm gonna buy a home before I go. So talking to the real estate, his name is Fred. Talking to him today, he was telling me you could find real estate like not too like maybe 20 to 30 minutes outside of Accra. I'm sorry, his name was Paul. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Paul Tete. You can find real estate outside of Accra, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for like $60,000 homes. Now they don't have it it's not like America where you can just go in and finance stuff or use FHA and put in 3% down. You pretty much have to buy it up front, or I think you have like 2 years to pay it off, and you have to put down a large lump sum, like maybe 40-50%. So for me, I'm definitely gonna buy something before I relocate, because I don't want to rent. Like I will own property. So I would need probably 150K, 100K at the least, just depending on the property I want, but 150K before I go.
Okay. Let's talk about with what we have here so a lot of guys want to know what were the women looking like, because they're gonna ask that.
Fine as hell.
Because I asked you that too. I asked you. I'm going to tell you what I asked you. What is the ass working with?
Oh, I got out of all the countries I've been to, Ghana got named when we had the fattest asses. The fattest.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Like in Senegal, they're all tall and slim.
Okay.
Like Ghana, they're short and they just got fat. Like I saw fat booties everywhere.
Like even more than you see in Atlanta.
Nah, Atlanta's a whole different monster, because they got all these all this processed food out here. So all the processed foods, and all the it goes straight to the ass. Because all that bad food and bad diets just go straight to the booty. So it's more of a healthier booty in Ghana. I saw a lot of fat ass in Ghana.
Okay, a lot of fat asses. Okay, so let's talk about this, because now I gotta talk about this. Now I love Africa, right? Look at Steve talking about I want to move there. Steve the Dean. Shout out to Steve the Dean. Steve know damn well he ain't thinking about no goddamn Africa.
Steve was trying to go to Sweden.
Yeah.
Steve ain't going to Africa. You want to go to Sweden.
Steve ain't going nowhere with no goddamn black woman is at. Nowhere with his crazy ass. So yeah, man, I don't know what the fuck wrong with Steve. Let me let's do this, brother. So we're gonna talk about this because
Steve Snow, that's his name. Steve Snow.
Yeah, shit. And shout out to Steve, because we're gonna be doing the brother peel after this, because we owe you guys a show. So do me a favor, brothers. We have 116 people of you watching right now. Okay, what I need the brothers to do is, you know, like I said, like my man Selful the P said, break yourself for the motherfucking likes. Like the video, right? It's 62 Harlem Shake for them likes, brothers. Now listen, we're gonna bring some more different people different across the black diaspora. Dynas has really got me into wanting to do the networking with our brothers over in different parts of the world. So we need all you black men, all you men out here, you know, go like the video, right? We have 116 people watching. We're gonna do the brother peel a little later on tonight, but I need you brothers to go ahead and, like my man Simple to P say, break your motherfucking self for them likes, okay? Because we do this kind of information for you brothers out here because we want to, you know, not only bring you brothers great content, but bring you brothers informational content from brothers who actually have gone out there and establishing a black male network. So let's do that. We got 24. We need 24 motherfucking likes. For those of you who are watching the replay, do it. Share the video, right? We need you brothers to support this channel. Tell people about it. And also, let's go into the description. My man Dynast Amir, his channel, if you want to find it, go in there, click the link, and subscribe to him. And we're definitely going to go ahead and do that. So let's keep getting everything set up. Dynast, let's talk about this. You are an African American, like me. You might look like them, but when you talk, they hear, hey, okay, this motherfucker not from here.
Right.
A lot of African Americans complain that when they go to Africa and they hear that you're not from there, all of a sudden when you're in the markets, prices going up all of a sudden. Then, you know, a lot of the women, and I talked about, I did a video, a lot of the women are asking for like money all the time, all type of things. What's been your experience with getting screwed over in the market? What's been your experience with dealing with you know, the people there and some of the women on WhatsApp and stuff like that? What's been your experience with these people?
Well, see, I negotiate. So, I mean, I do sales. So they're not getting over on me because I just walk off because I know when I'm getting a bullshit deal or not. Or usually I have a friend with me who's a local who does negotiating for me. He'll let me know if I'm getting a good deal or not. So, you know, I'm not going to say I've never been hustled, but like literally when we say hustled, like I might've been screwed out of like maybe $5, you know? So like somebody would tell me like, Daddy, you paid too much. So I told him, well, I pay, and then I converted to American dollars. I'm like, okay, he fucked me out of his tip money. You know what I mean? So, you know, I haven't had any too many bad issues, and I haven't been played by any girls at all. So, you know.
Well, let me ask you this. When you talk to women over in Ghana, I mean, I ain't trying to put your thing out there now. I know you're a boss player, but you know, when you approach a woman, you know, and they hear that your accent is not a Ghanaian accent, how do they treat you?
I mean, they treat me good. I mean, I never had any hold on 1 second. Yeah, I mean, they treat me good. I never had any issues. But I would say this, man. The one thing about African women, if you help them out, like when you go back, like they will roll out the red carpet for you. Like that's the thing. Like literally, you know, I have a chick in Benin. I might send her $40 for a phone bill, but like when I go to Benin, she literally will roll out the red carpet for me, cook for me, like to take care of everything for me. So, you know, that's why I'm saying I've never been played. Like they might know you're American and they might ask for some money, but it isn't like dealing with, you know, Black American females where, you know, you got to do all types of shit just to, you know, fucking get them out on a date. Over there, you help them out with anything. Like they introduce you to the family, they're cooking for you, they're feeding you. I mean, they're looking out for you. So it's always been a win-win for me.
Let me say this real quick, because some guys talking about, oh, he's out here simping. Let me tell you the difference, y'all. Listen, when you go to Africa, I got a female in Africa that if I like, when I know I'm gonna come back, I'll send $10, $12. I'm gonna tell you why. when you get there, you need a motherfucker to show you
Right,
around,
that's
man.
what I'm saying. Like, if you give her like
Y'all niggas don't
$40,
know.
she's gonna show you around. She's gonna
Yeah.
cook for you. I mean, she's gonna do so much for you that it's just like, it's worth the $40 instead of like, out here you simping, you buying, taking girls out to eat, buying, getting them roses and all this other stuff just to try to get laid, and you're not even getting laid or getting nothing out of the deal. Like I said, it's always been a win-win situation for me when, I guess, investing in African females versus, I guess, simping here in America.
Let me say that all that Kampala footage you guys saw me get, and I was able to get for you guys, a chick. Well, I did hit it, so I'm not gonna lie. But a chick was actually the one that took me through all them dangerous places out there in Gaza land. Listen, man, if you don't have somebody and you go to Africa, you can get robbed, you can get hurt, you can get fucked over real bad. You need a person showing you where the hot spots at. And when I went to Gaza land, and that's dangerous, man. I had my GoPro on the low. All of that footage I caught was because I had somebody with me. Somebody that was telling me, look, walk faster, keep up the pace. I was gonna wear a nicer outfit there. She said, no, that's too nice. You need to blend in. Stuff like that will help you not get robbed or took advantage of. So again, you guys got to think about it, because a lot of times, like in America, the connections and networks, we can talk about that right now, Dynas. The networks to get to one place is very difficult. And in Africa, the network is a little bit easier. So you don't know who she knows. She can introduce you to certain people. And that's the thing that you guys need to do. So if you get an African female and you go meet her, it's not like $10 to $15 is nothing. Like $20 is nothing. When you get over there and she shows you around all this shit, that's an investment. You need a motherfucker that's going to put you on the ground and help you get to here and help you get to there. That's something that you guys need. So think about it in the business term. Let's talk about establishing networks, Dynas, because we always talking about how much money you need before you do stuff. But you are an excellent networker. You're like me in that way. Me and you are always networking, Dynas.
Yeah.
How important is it for these brothers to establish a network of people if they go visit a place and while they're coming back? How important is the networking in Africa?
It's very important, especially if you plan on establishing yourself. Because, obviously you're going to need people you trust, people who know the landscape. So, I mean, especially if you're making a jump to Africa, where obviously it's not a place where something happens, you can just drive back home to America. So, yeah, it's very important to establish a network of people out there who operate in your best interest. And I know I have that in Senegal. So that's why Senegal is like my number one spot right now. And I'm building that in Ghana right now as well. But yeah, I mean, like, you can't get established in another country without having people you trust in your corner. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you definitely have to build a network. And another thing too about Africa, like, once you go and you meet people, they're gonna always remember you. They're gonna want to keep in contact with you. They're always gonna WhatsApp you, hit you up on Facebook. So they're gonna stay connected with you. So yeah.
Okay, because that's the thing. Like, I've noticed in actually, things like YouTube, Facebook, a lot of brothers always tell you, brothers, man, even if you're commenters or subscribers, always network with the person, man. Like, this is a great place to meet serious people, man. YouTube is probably the best platform, I think, Dynas, to meet people who are actually about something.
It is.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best way. It's the best source of information to do stuff. And again, so I want to talk about that. I hear though that the network, Dynas, is actually maybe even more important than, or just as important than the money. And shout out to J85. He says Wakanda shall rise. What's Wakanda, Dynas?
That silly ass that movie.
The comic
Black Panther.
Shout out to J85, man. And you brothers get the likes up, man. We need 11 more likes for 9 more likes to get to 100, let's just talk about some more opportunity. I did a video earlier, and again, we need 9 more brothers like the video. So if you're live, let's go back and like the video, brothers. We just need 9 more. Okay, 9 more will get us to 100. I was talking about Sudhir Ruparela, a brother, an Indian guy who was an Indian Ugandan, because they were living there for at least 100 something years. They were put out in 72 by Idi Amin. 1 second. I tried to network with Uhuru, but nothing. I'll tell you what. Stop the show.
Who is this?
Full Circle. That's my boy, man, Ernest. Full Circle. So tell you what. Full Circle. I will link you and Dynast on the email. Me and you got to do a show this week, brother. Talk about your Kenyan experience. So let me do that because he just came from Kenya.
Full Circle. When did you send me an email? Because I always respond to my emails.
I'll link you in the email right now.
I'm asking Full Circle. When did he reach out to me? We'll connect. But
yeah, we'll connect. I'll connect you right now in the email with Dynast. And shout out to Full Circle. And so let's talk about this guy who, again, he was in Britain. He was a butcher. He saved up 25,000 British pounds. Mm-hmm. And he took the leap back into Uganda in '85 when Museveni had just took over the country again from Milton Obote. Because you had Milton Obote at first, then you had Idi Amin. Idi Amin gets put out, and then Julius from Tanzania helps Obote come back, and then Obote gets put out again, and then you have Idi. Then you have this brother Museveni who's still in power. All these Indians come back, and when I went to Uganda, Dynast, I noticed I don't see a lot of Ugandan people running a lot of the more higher power businesses. When I'm seeing like TVs, when I'm seeing like the malls, I'm seeing these are dominated by like a lot of Indians, and he's the richest guy in Uganda. The top 3 or 4 richest people are not even black. Right. So let's talk about when you went to Ghana. Did you see a lot of non-black people?
Actually,
running business.
Actually, Oshay, I didn't, which was rare. I think that's more. I would say this. I think that's more East Africa, where you see a lot of non-blacks running pretty much the infrastructure. Now, it's somewhat in West Africa, but you do see a lot of black people who are making major moves. So, like, for example, the Dagante, Aliko Dagante, he's all over. Well, he's all over pretty much Africa, but she has a very strong presence in West Africa versus East Africa. So I really, and then you have like what was it, ABU, the African Bank,
Okay.
Because the thing is, you have to understand, like in countries like Nigeria, the majority of the power players are Black Africans, and then they kind of also have, they kind of reach throughout West Africa as well. So I think that's a lot primarily that's more concentrated around East Africa, where you'll see like a lot of more Indians and whites who pretty much run everything. But in West Africa, you do see a lot of black people who are doing big things over there.
Okay, let me do this real quick because somebody's talking about they want to donate, but they have issues. But drop your emails for those people who having issues with PayPal. I'll send you the fundraiser link, and you guys can do that if you want to do that, and you can donate that way, or you can join on Patreon. But let's talk about the opportunities, man, because we are seeing a good amount of Lebanese. I know that you probably saw this in Senegal. Did you see a lot of a lot of Lebanese in Senegal running some businesses?
Somewhat I did. Yeah, Lebanese are everywhere. I know when I was in Kumasi, we actually ate at a Lebanese restaurant. So yeah.
Let's talk about that. What can these black men do? Because I know the United States is a very it's comfortable, right? Because typically you get paid a lot of money. Sometimes for not doing much. You know what I mean? You don't have to really go out and fend for yourself like you do in Africa and Ghana. Do you think that black men that acquire certain skills in America, they can go to Ghana and improve it? They can go to Liberia, which really isn't a lot of and needs a lot of help. Can these? Do you think that these guys can have success in a country like? I know you've never been to Liberia, but let's talk Liberia a little bit. What about Liberia, a place that's really for African Americans? Do you think that these brothers could really go to Liberia and make a difference?
I mean, basically everything you're learning in corporate America, you could take and utilize in a consultative role in Africa. I mean, so basically the skills you're learning over here, you could take over there and use. So absolutely. You know, even brothers that work in warehouses. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're learning about logistics. I mean, you could go over there and teach logistics as far as people who are trying to build their logistic, businesses as far as shipping. I mean, like I said, everything you learn over here, you can take over and learn over there.
Let me just mention one dude, man. A guy named he has a company called For Broad Rice, and he's a Americo-Liberian, which is kind of like a half between African American and Liberian. He went to University of Temple, and he moved back to Liberia. He started with a small rice farm. Now he's one of the largest processing rice plants in Liberia, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, man. He has a processing rice, selling bags of rice a day. He has employees, and this is an opportunity that he didn't have in America. And this is, he had no prior experience. And here's a guy, man, that's making a really fucking good living for himself over there, and now, he can, if he wanted to come back to the United States, I guess he could. But, it's opportunity that a lot of brothers don't see, that you can go there, and if you have the right thing and the right connections, you can make money. You can make a whole new life for yourself and a whole new income for yourself with these new skills.
Right. But I just think they don't want to take advantage of the opportunities. I mean, or they don't even want to look for the opportunities. Like I said, we just have this issue in the Black community where we don't want to venture outside of America versus like China. I mean, China's about to buy, quiet is kept. China's about to own or buy up just about all the Caribbean islands. I mean, they already pretty much own Jamaica. The islands that are affected by the hurricane, they're about to pretty much buy those. It's just a lot of Black people just don't understand that there's opportunity outside of their own community or outside of America. I mean, you got to think about it. When I left California to go to the University of Georgia, people thought I was crazy. Like, you're leaving your home state? Like, yeah, I mean, I think there's opportunity out there. I'm gone. So like me, I won't hesitate to dip in the name of opportunity.
Well, let me ask you this, because it was a big story when you had the UCLA experience. Doing it different, would you have went to UCLA and played running back?
I would not. If anything, I tell people this: if I had to do it differently, I would probably go to Notre Dame or Stanford.
You got an offer from Notre Dame?
Yeah, I got an offer by everybody, but I would probably go to Notre Dame or Stanford. If I had to do it differently, I would go to Notre Dame or Stanford. Just being in corporate America. For the most part, a degree is a degree outside of the experience. But when you have like a certain degree from a certain institution, people look at you completely differently. So I would go to Notre Dame or Stanford just to have that piece of paper, because it's just the, what's the word I want to use? Just what comes along with it. I forgot the word I want to use. That comes along with having a degree from one of those prestige. The prestige that comes with having a degree from one of those universities goes a lot.
Yeah, no, Diners, man. You mind if I tell them your real name? Do you? Your first name?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Albert Hollis. If you Google Albert Hollis, man, you will see he was a parade All-American running back. Man, he had offers from everybody. He was the best running back maybe in the country that year. It's a debate if he was better than my boy, Oh
God, here we go.
Ontario Leo the Smith, but the best running back that ever came out of Sacramento. You number two. I'm just got to say, dog, you my boy, but you wasn't better than Otis. That's our name for him, Otis Smith. Come on, man, Otis, number one. You probably could beat him in a race now because like 400 pounds. You could beat him in a race back then.
Yeah. I could outrun Ontario.
Yeah. Well, you probably could back then too, but But what do you think? You think you was better than Ontario, man?
Of course.
You can't say that in Sacramento, man. You get shot at a great.
I say that in Sacramento. I said it in Sacramento.
Well, you got to come to the heights and say it.
No, I ain't coming to the heights. I won't step foot in the heights.
Wall start.
I'm not stepping foot in the heights.
They know about man. Listen, I'll tell you the best running back we ever had in our city, man. I'm talking about overall.
The closest I go to the Heights is Arden Mall, and then they. No, listen, they used to be that they closed down. It used to be a soul food restaurant, like
Plantation.
The Plantation. The Plantation. That's the closest I go to the Heights. The Plantation.
Oh man. So let me do this real quick. I have another brother here. Shout out to me, Richard. Go ahead, Dynast.
Did you ever eat at the Plantation?
Of course, man, you know I ate the Plantation. I just did a show about that, about how I met somebody's crazy baby daddy at the Plantation that I was trying to fuck with. I did it the other night.
Is it still open or it closed down?
I don't know. It ain't open. Them niggas, man. Them niggas couldn't keep that shit open. All them crazy niggas shooting up every goddamn thing.
The Plantation. I used to go to my homeboys to do comedy shows at the Plantation.
Yeah, upstairs. It was upstairs.
Yep.
Yeah, boy. And all them niggas smoking all that weed and shit. But let that motherfucker shut down. Let me just do this, man. I got my buddy here, a reaching dude. I have a couple of good business ideas. I felt more of a resistance to Western Brothers haters in East Africa. Would you recommend going with and building with Western Brothers or trying out West Africa? Dynast, what's your
let me scroll up especially here. I have a couple of good business ideas. I feel more of a resistance to Western Brothers haters in East Africa. Western Brothers trying West Africa. So I don't understand it. So you're in East. So Western Brothers who lived in East Africa, Eritrean dude. Is that what you're saying? So you want to work with Western Brothers who live in West Africa? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I think he's saying like he's from Eritrea, but he had like some problems with in East Africa trying to do some development. Would you recommend going with and building with Western Brothers or trying out like brothers from the West, like USA, a group of us, London, British?
I mean, shoot, I do this. Email me, Eritrean dude. Email me. Shoot me.
He's a good dude too. Yeah. Email him, man. That's a connection.
Yeah, email me. He's a good dude too. Then, I mean, whoever you can find that's like-minded. I mean, get it cracking. I mean, so that's the thing. I'm building a network of like-minded people who are serious about doing the work in Africa. So yeah, just shoot me email. I'll put it in the comment box. But yeah, whoever's like-minded, who's serious. I mean, that's what it's really about.
Yeah. And so again, so do that. And also Google my boy Ontario Smith, man. He played for the Vikings, man. And look at his stats and look at Uhuru's stats, man. He's blowing Uhuru ass out. But
but see, y'all had a squad too, man. I mean,
Dante Stallworth.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't have the support like Ontario had. Y'all had motherfuckers that dude. Oshay, whatever happened to Joey DeBeast?
That's my boy, Joe DeBeast. He went to Cal for a minute, and to be honest, he was actually I thought he was a really good quarterback, man, but he went to Burbank for a minute, and then he went there, and then
he went to Burbank, went to Cal for a year, and he just disappeared. Like, you ever heard from him at all?
Nah, man. I talked to my boy Shalimar when I come back, but yeah, man, that was my boy too, man. Yeah,
that would happen with Joey, man.
He's a good quarterback too. He could throw the ball.
Yeah, he was real good.
He could throw the ball, man. He had a good arm. So let me just do this real quick, man. Everybody, again, we got these different kind of shows, man. We're gonna do the brother PL tonight. I know y'all want that Steve the Dean fuckery. I know you've been missing it. Me and Donovan gonna do our show tomorrow, but let's do this, man. Let's get the likes up on the video. And also, Dynast, I want to talk about this particular article that the BBC left. And this chick, the only way is Ghana. I want to read this real quick.
Go ahead.
So we have, her name is Larissa Akua. So there were bigger problems for Larissa Akua. Her name is The Only Way is Ghana in YouTube, over like 7,700 subscribers. A former South London social worker. She moved to Ghana to become a real estate developer in 2014. I was staying in a family hotel and armed robbers took us hostage, who escaped unharmed. I can't say I've met a lot of people who've had armed robbers come to their house, but it happens. And also, you can go and look at her development of her property that she's building right now. It's like 6 bedrooms. She fell in Ghana. She's like a British, because a lot of Ghanaians live in Britain.
Right.
She set up her construction company. She's building 6 apartments and stuff like that. But if you guys want to really look at what she's doing out there in Ghana, you can go to The Only Way is Ghana, and she's still building on that right now. She's had several problems, but it looks like she's getting off the ground. She's building 6 apartments from scratch, and she's paying for it herself, cash, to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, man. That's like really. That's going to be. I know she's having a lot of motherfucking issues with that.
Is it in Accra? Like where is she?
Yeah, it's in Accra. It's like outside of Accra.
Okay, yeah, because you got to think about it. You could build a 2-bath house like 20, 30 minutes out of Accra for $50,000. So, you know, a multi-family unit, I don't know how big the apartments are or how many they're going to have. She's probably spending like $200,000, which I'm not saying everybody got a $200,000 into their mattress, but you got to think about it. The average decent home in America, you know, a decent house, you're looking at $200 to $250. So, but she's building 6 separate apartments, I guess. Or I don't know what she's building, but yeah, I definitely got to check her out.
Okay, yeah, you got to check it out, man. So, as it seems, if you know somebody on the ground that can help you do certain things, and you have a connection and stuff like that, it can be lucrative with everything. So check that out. And so again, brothers, you know, we've been on for a minute, and Dynas, man, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a long time since we did it. Actually, Sunday was actually our days to do shows.
But you kicked me out, you know.
Yeah, well, I didn't kick you out, dog.
You're too busy eating collard green sandwiches. You know.
I mean, you know, Steve the Dean, man. You know, motherfucker, he started cussing out all the people, so it would just be only him left. So you know, yeah. Steve. But shout out to Steve. We're gonna bring those Sunday. In fact, maybe tonight, we might actually do like a kind of a brother peel. Let other people get on like we used to. Throwback brother peel tonight. So Dynas, if you want to get on that, man, you definitely can.
Okay.
And so, anything else, man, you want to say, fam?
No, I just want to encourage brothers to think outside the box, and there's opportunities inside America, and consider Africa. Africa is a great place. I know it's composed of 54 different countries, but you know, there's a lot of opportunity and there's a lot going on there. So just keep Africa in mind, and don't just limit yourself to the heights, the Paso Heights. You know, it's okay to leave the heights. You know, it's okay to leave South Sacramento. Like, it's okay.
It's okay to leave. Yeah, I'm from that. That's my neighborhood. You know, we throwing shots, but it's okay to leave wherever you're from, man. Oakland, I know, you know, Vegas, wherever you guys are from, man. You know, take a risk sometimes, man. You know, a lot of that y'all talk about. Brothers always trying to go to Europe with a vacation, Brazil. I'm like this. Sit on my Patreon account too. I did a personal video. Mm-hmm. Only way I would go to, you know, I want to tell brothers this: if you're gonna take a vacation, I mean, the DR is closed, but look for a place that you can actually do something business wise in. Like,
well, see, and that's what I do now. I'm always looking. That's why I live. Like, that's when I go to these countries. You know, it's like business tourism, I guess, kind of. So I'm always looking for opportunities when I go there.
Yeah, you have business tourism. I gotta do a video on that. Business tourism versus sex tourism. So a lot of brothers, man, are like more like sex tourists. And then, you know, that's the thing. When you go to a place, man, you know, you need to be able to go to a place where you can actually have an impact on something. Look for opportunity, because if you know, going to an English speaking place is really good benefit. You know, if you can't speak Portuguese, you gotta learn Portuguese. You know what I mean? I would have never came to Poland if it was not for medical school. And so, you know, we want to encourage you, brothers, man. You know, I know you want to go to the Frances and the Chinas, but consider going to Africa, man. Consider going to places that, you know, number one, you helping other Black people out. That's always good. And number two, you might meet an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to do like what Charles Tyler was doing. He was there all the time, and that's a network you can make. But again, we want to, you know, get you brothers to continue to go places that you can do something at, and that you can meet the right person and get in somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and everybody go to the description link. That's Dynas's link there, and email. About 30-40 minutes will be on the Brother Pill. Again, Dynas, you're more than welcome. And anything else you want to say to everybody?
Yeah, just make sure you guys subscribe to my page. Search for Huru Also on social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, search for Uhuru as well. Make sure you guys like the page, follow, all that good stuff.
And send me all that information, Dynast. I put it in the description. And for those of you who want to subscribe to Dynast or search for Uhuru channel, just go into the description. All the information is in the description. You can subscribe to this channel, hit the bell, and Dynast, send me an email with all your other stuff, and I'll put that in the description also.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, Oshay. Thank you for your platform and giving brothers a voice. Like I said, you heard about your boy Roland Martin. They canceled the show.
Yeah, so,
I mean, Oshay, we talked about this last year, man. Black media is dead, bro. It's dead. Like it's gone. So like what you're doing, I mean, this is black media now. Like it's
black media.
It's a wrap. I mean, Ebony is pretty much done. Roland Martin, who was clowning for Hillary, he's done. They thought all that tap dancing for Hillary and stuff was gonna work out for him, and it didn't. Like it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. So again, shout out to CB3. Shout out to everybody. High Def, I see you. Migo, need to do a part 2 about. Okay, I'll do a part 2. And guys, again, we'll be on the Brother Peel tonight. Me and Donovan will do a show this week. So just be on the lookout for us about 30 minutes. Again, Dynast, thanks so much. And thank you guys for supporting us. We hope you guys have found some information that was good for you here. And we'll talk to you later. Peace out.
Peace.